This is the theme of this unhaul is I don't want to pick it up, so I'm giving it away. Hello everyone, what's up and welcome back to another video. It's one of those days where everything is hot, so if you hear the fan in the background, I do apologize. I don't want to switch it off. Okay, anyway, so today I'm coming to you with I won't say a massive book haul, but it's a pretty great book haul. Not like, yeah, this is great, but I mean like big. I have 22 books that I need to unhaul. I have held onto these books for years at a time, and every time I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna read it, and then when I see it on my shelves, I just don't want to dive into them. So I thought, you know, let me just unhaul them and give them to someone who really wants them. Some of them are thrillers that I really enjoyed, but once you read a thriller or mystery, the mystery is gone, so what's the use in holding on to them? There is one, however, that I'm keeping because it was a gift from a friend on Instagram, so I'm going to be keeping that one. Before we get started, please remember to click the like button and subscribe, and comment down below if there are any books you plan to unhaul, and let's just get on with the video. So the first book is Backroads by Torn Odell. I think I got this book from my gran. She gave away a few books. I don't want to read this. I don't even know what this is. This is apparently a debut novel. It looks like a murder mystery kind of thing, but it hasn't been calling my name. I haven't gravitated towards, so I'm just gonna let go, you know, call it a day. Then the next one is The Grass Memorial by Sarah Harrison, and this is about 3 different people who each go through their own journey, I guess, but along the way their story meets up and I don't know, they make a connection. Again, I'm not really interested. I think I only bought this because it was like 20 rand, and yep, 10. It was 10 rand. So I was just like, oh, it's cool. I should stop buying books just because they're cheap. Then the next book is A Place Called Here and What? Thanks for the Memories by Cecilia Ahern. This is an omnibus that I bought years ago, and I read A Place Called Here and enjoyed it. I would now give it a 3 stars because it was wild, and the girl falls in love with her therapist, which is weird because he is a lot older than her. Anyway, and then Thanks for the Memories I never got to read, so every time I pick up Thanks for the Memories I'm just like, I don't want to read it. Cecilia Ahern is really a hit or miss for me, and right now it's a miss, so I'm giving this one away. Isn't it Cecilia Ahern or Ahern? My bad, I've been pronouncing that wrong so many times, but yeah, you get the idea. Then the next one is The Giant's Dance by Robert Carter. My bad, it's Robert Carter. This is the second book in a series, and once again I bought this because it was 20 rand, 24 rand, and this is a continuation of like a retelling of the King Arthur series. Because I never got to the first book, I didn't want to read the second book because I would know I'd be lost if I didn't read the first book, and I don't have an inkling to pick this up, so why is it still sitting on my shelves? The next book is Cold Harbor by Jack Higgins. This is a book I thought I read via the Reader's Digest, and when I saw the single one I was like, oh yeah, this is a book that I've read and loved because it was about, I think, the Second World War, about Pearl Harbor and all that. But after reading the description, I'm not even sure if it is the same person. I'm not particularly sure what this all entails, but don't want to pick it up. This is the theme of this unhaul is I don't want to pick it up, so I'm giving it away. The next one is That Loving Feeling by Carol Matthews, and this is a second chance romance about a woman whose 20-year marriage is slowly starting to deplete, and then she meets up with one of her high school sweethearts. Just by chance she meets him again, and he stirs feelings within her that, I don't know, makes her question her marriage. And yeah, it's just the journey that I believe a married woman goes on to figure out, is she still in love with her husband or should she move on. I read the first chapter and it didn't really entice me at all. I just didn't have the, how can I say, the need to pick this up again. It's also a very hit or miss for me when it comes to second chance romances, and I have a feeling that she leaves her husband for the new sweetheart. But you know, all books have happy endings, so maybe she and her husband work things out. I don't know. The next book is West End Girls and Operation Sunshine by Jenny Colgan. This is also an omnibus. You can see how long I've had this because the sun has bleached the spine. I am not a fan of this. I read West End Girls when I was in high school, and to tell you the truth, I never finished this book, the West End Girls part. And Operation Sunshine just didn't call to me. But West End Girls, I remember the main character being very flip-floppy about what she wants to do in life and who she wants to date, and it was all just a big mess, and she keeps on dragging her sister with her into all this mess, and her sister just wants an easy life. So yeah, I don't want to pick it up. The next book is The Changeling by Philippa Gregory. I don't know what this is about. I picked it up because, again, it was on special, and eventually I found out that this is part of a series, and I don't want to pick it up. I think I wanted to pick this up a few years ago, and then I was just like, you know what, this doesn't call to me no matter how many times I look at it. I've read the blurb and I'm just like, don't want to read it. There's a whole lot of other books that I would read instead of this one, so it's going. I've held on to this for I think 10 years now. I think it's time to let go. Then the next book is Inkheart by Cornelia Funk, or Funke. I have not the original covers, but the series full of covers, and this was actually my husband's, but I don't need another version of this, even though it has Brendan Fraser on the cover. I don't think I want this. Then the next one is The Double Bind by Chris Bojanian. Again, a book I bought for like 10 or 20 rand, but this is about a girl who drives her bike that discovers this old man or something, and there's a mystery linked behind everything, or she disappears while she's pedaling on the bike, or she finds a secret while she's on her bike and she's trying to solve this. I don't know, don't care. So it's going on the unwhole pile. The next book is The Story of an African Farm by, Olive Schreiner. I bought this merely because it was a must-read for one of our literature classes in our third year of university, and it wasn't my favorite. I read it, and I don't remember what the assignment was about, but this really wasn't my favorite, and I don't think I'm gonna pick it up again. It was a very expensive book though. Yeah, it's a modern classic. I think it came out in the 1970s. Yeah, a little tidbit of information for you. Olive Schreiner is a woman, but I believe this isn't Olive Schreiner's real name. She wrote under a pseudonym of Olive Schreiner, which sounds like a men's name because it was frowned upon that women published books in the 1970s. So there you have it. The next book is Dogwood by Emmy Breen. I bought this book in 2012. Yes, because it was one of my friend's birthdays and I wanted to buy her a book, but I also wanted to have this book, so I bought both of them. I bought two of the same copy, one for her and one for me. And this is about a girl who stays with this family that doesn't really like her, and then she escapes, and there's like trials and tribulations she faces on her journey towards this utopia kind of thing. But the things in here are very dark, and I think from this book itself, I figured that I don't like horror movies because there are some creepy things happening in here. I think a lot of people who like unsettling things might like this book, but I finished it, liked it, but never had the inkling to pick it up again. It has never called my name again, and it's just been sitting on my shelf gathering dust. So again, I'm letting it go. I actually held on to this just because of the memories of buying it for myself and for my friend, but yeah, it's what's the use. The next book is Wayward Girls by Amanda Mason, and while I love this book, I read this last year. It's a thriller, so I don't think I would be wanting to read this again because I already know the premise of it. I already know what happened, and it was great, but I'm not going to pick it up again. Would highly recommend picking this book up if you are into thrillers. The next book is, I almost said Nicholas Evans by The Horse Whisperer. The Horse Whisperer by Nicholas Evans, and I think there's a movie out about this guy who goes to a ranch because there's something wrong with a horse, and he learns to talk to the horse and then falls in love with the horse owner, something along those lines. Also a book I bought because it was 10 rand or 20 rand, 10 rand. I don't want to pick it up. Then the next book is The Devil Wears Prada and Everyone Worth Knowing by Lauren Weisberger. I haven't watched the movie because I've been wanting to read the book, but also this really hasn't been one of my ooh, you need to read this. And I'm trying to make space. So if anyone is interested in The Devil Wears Prada, I have you sorted. The next one is The Companion, The Paid Companion by Amanda Quick. And this basically follows a very notable man who pays a woman to be his companion on his journey, and how he eventually falls in love with her and she falls in love with him. This was part of my 23 books to read for 2023. I never got to it. I'm not going to keep holding on to it if I know it just doesn't call to me. The next book is I Heart Paris by Lindsay Kelk. I've been saying that wrong as well. Lindsay Kelk. Okay. I read this book when I bought it, and then I DNF'd it not even halfway. I think around chapter 6 or somewhere along there. Then for 2 years ago for Valentine's Day, I picked it up again. I'm just trying. I couldn't get through it, so I DNF'd. So we basically follow Angela, who is, I don't know, she's having this on and off again relationship with her boyfriend that's in a band, and he wants her to move in, but he's committed but she's not, or something along those lines. And then when one of her friends asks her to go to Paris for work kind of thing, she didn't even know her boyfriend was going to go there, so she spots him with this model girl that was his ex-girlfriend, and that just, I don't know, opens a can of worms that none of them were really ready to dissect. Is that even the correct term? Anyway, so she's having this whole mental breakdown about it, and so they have this rocky relationship, and the question is, will she find love in Paris while she's there? I don't know, and I don't care. The next book is Celandine, I believe, by Steve Agarde, because I don't know. Also bought this book because it was cheap, and it sounded interesting until I figured that this was the second book in a trilogy, I believe, and the first book is The Visions or something like that. And I don't care. I don't want to read it. It's been on my shelves for like 10 years, and if you don't pick it up by then why is it still sitting there? This book really didn't want to be on hold. Okay, hold on. There's a bird on my washing. Okay, the next one is Truth or Dare by Jane Ann Krentz, and it's about an interior designer. It sounds like a, I don't know, love triangle thingy, or it could be a mystery from the looks of this. Again, I don't want to read it, so it's going on the pile. I don't even know. Then the next two books I have mixed feelings on. Not mixed feelings that I don't want to DNF, and mixed feelings about how I feel about them, basically. But the first one is The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea by Maggie Takura Hall. And I read this book last year, I think November, around there. And while I love the premise of the story of a mermaid, a pirate, and or witch, essentially, this fell flat for me. While the execution was great, because yes, there are mermaids in this, yes, there's a witch in this, and the sea is alive. The sea is alive, but I mean, like, the sea has a characteristic trait in here. That sounds weird. You read from the sea's perspective, okay? I didn't love the ending of this at all, and I don't see why I should keep it when I really didn't like it. I think I gave it a 3 stars. So then the last one is The Bane of My Existence, and not in a romantic way, Afterland by Lauren Beekers. I held on to this because I love this cover. This is the greatest cover I've ever seen. It's so nice, and Lauren Beekers is a South African author, so I was like, listen, this should be a great book, because I read Moxieland and loved that book to the core. But then came this book, and again, the premise sounds nice. The execution of it, though, it's bad. It's really bad. So this Mother Cole is on the run, and she's taking her son with her because her sister is trying to find these two. You know, her sister's a bad person. Let's just put it like that. And like I say, execution wise, this could have been done so well, but then the ending just, I don't know how I feel about this book. There was too many things happening in this book that I was just like, no, this isn't for me. So unfortunately, this was a 2-star for me, but if there is someone who likes Lauren Beekers and would love to give this one a try, yeah, go for it. Hey, I had a bookmark in there. Oh, and also, it's very floppy if you want to, if that piques your interest. But yeah, those are the books that I am unholding. I don't think there's going to be any more because most of the books that I am holding on to are books that I like. But who knows, if I don't like a book, I think I'm just gonna unhold it because why is it sitting on my shelves? But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in a video next week.